Hi, and welcome to part 2 of our video on tombstone making. Um, I left off because the paint that I had been old and dried up, so I had to go get a new can. This is what I got. Dry lock is what I use when I paint my tombstones and other hard yonks, because it kind of weatherproofs it, and I think it's a pretty good thing. And I have already put one coat on the tombstone. I'm going to put in another coat, and I also went on ahead and made another tombstone, which I'm going to put a gimmick on it, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. I'm going to attempt a gimmick anyway. So first of all, I'm going to throw on a second coat of this dry lock on this Lon Chaney's tombstone. One other thing I like about the dry lock paint is that it does, I think it's got like sand in it or something, and kind of gives a tombstone a little bit of a stony texture. I'm going to put on a second coat here. And when it dries, I'll show you how to weather it. Okay. There we go. Lon Chaney's tombstone. I'm going to put this over here to dry. And I'm going to work on the William Castle tombstone. If you don't know, William Castle was a movie director, I think in the 1950s, up until his passing in 1977. And he did sort of like gimmicks of the time. He was the king of the movie gimmicks. When he did movies such as House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price, at certain times in the theater, he would have plastic skeletons on pulley systems going through the audience. Another movie he did was 13 Ghosts, where you got special red and blue filtered glasses, where when you watched the movie, if you looked at it through the red filters, you would see the ghost. And if you watch it through the blue filters, the ghost would disappear. Another movie was Macabre, where he offered like $1,000 life insurance to anyone who died from fright of watching the movie. So he was just a big gimmicky guy. So, and I like gimmicks. So I thought for his tombstone, I would put a gimmick in it. I was going to try to do like eyes that will follow you. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to attempt that. And we're going to paint and everything on this tombstone. And yeah, we're going to start on that now. Now, when I went to the store to pick up the paint, I stopped by the dollar store and got a couple of these glass, actually they're plastic, clear plastic bulbs. I'm going to use these as eyes. And let me see if I can get this. I got in these clear plastic cups, things at the dollar store. And first thing I'm going to do is around the center. I'm not sure where you can see this. I'm going to paint it black, kind of representing the pupil. Not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. So you see I painted that. I got it through here. So when that dries, we'll go on to the iris. All right, once your iris is dried, oh, and also I am using this acrylic paint. Once your eyes pupils have dried, you go on to the iris, and for me, I'm doing it in yellow because that's just creepy. Yellow eyes are just real creepy. And just kind of paint around that. Do this on both of them. All right. And we're going to wait for the eyes to dry. Set them aside. And while we're waiting on those to dry, we're going to work with the castle, with the tombstone. All right, for the next step, I'm going to place these eyes kind of like where I want to cut it out at, and kind of trace around it. That's where one eye will go. And here's where the other eye will go. Yes, this looks silly for a tombstone, but like I said, this is a William Castle tombstone that I'm wanting to do, so it's going to be a little gimmicky, a little silly. Then after you kind of trace out where you want your eyes to go, you want to find some way to cut it out, which I'm just going to use my utility blade for it. And we'll be back on that in a minute after I get these cut out. Alright, once you get your eyes cut out, like so. You know, that looks kind of silly. And if you're wondering, like I was saying earlier, 13 Ghosts was one of his movies that he did. And I kind of made the tombstone kind of like in the shape of a ghost. Well, can't see it from there. Kind of a ghost shape with the eyes. So, do that. Now we're going to switch camera angles. All right, now that we've gotten the eyes cut out, I'm going to go ahead and paint this. Now you want to get this thing painted before you put your eyes in. So let's go ahead and get the first coat of paint on here. One thing I like to do when I paint my tombstones is, yeah, I do it in the, brushing, but you'll get those brush streaks, and sometimes to avoid that, I will get some paint on my brush and I will just start dapping like that. Sometimes you'll go in different directions. Now, if you think that the paint is a little too white, we'll be fixing that in a few minutes. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, I'm sure you don't want to sit here in the video watching me paint, so I'm going to pause it and continue painting this, and we'll come back in a minute. It is now pouring down rain at my house, something I haven't seen in quite some time. We've been going through kind of a drought here in North Carolina, but yeah, we're going to continue. All right, we're going to finish brushing up William Castle's here. Like I said, I'm going to continue with the painting, even though it's pouring down rain outside. I'll worry about getting home from the shop in a few minutes. Kind of dabbing here, get that sort of stone texture to it. Not sure how well that's being picked up on camera. Okay, now that William Castle's all painted, we're going to set it aside to dry. And we're going to kind of weather up Lon Chaney here. So. Hold on, I gotta set up. Okay, normally I would do this outside, but since it's pouring down rain, it probably would not work right. And what I've got is a bottle of water, which I will put some black paint, again, acrylic paint. Squeeze some of that into the bottle with the water. Spray bottle, I guess I should say. Put your thing on, shake it up pretty good. Also have yourself a paper towel nearby. And you shoot this out the door. Okay, there it goes. Let it kind of run. When you come back with your paper towel and go over it. Kind of wish I continued doing this outside, but I didn't. Kind of want it going into the letters, so hopefully the lettering will pop out. Should have put some plastic or something down because this is really messing up my workbench. Like I said, I got this propped up back here. Hopefully it won't fall, but get another paper towel. Squeeze it over here a bit. Like I said, you really want to kind of get into your lettering. And there you go. That's how you do a tombstone. And once you're done with your water bottle, after you get it the way you want it, pour out the water, get some new water in there, maybe get some greens or browns to put in to kind of give it a more earth tone colors. And don't forget to get your tops and your sides. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes after I've finished getting this one. And yeah, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm watering down some black paint and I'm going back over the lettering. This is not really a necessary step, but it does help. Stick out a little bit, and if you keep your brush a little wet when you do this, after a few minutes you can stick it back up and spray it down with water and it'll run, give it a pretty cool effect. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. All right, we got Lon Chaney's tombstone taken care of. Like I said, when the lettering dries, I'm going to go over with some earth tones, browns and greens and stuff like that. And so we're going to get to work. I'm going to do this off camera, but I'm going to go ahead and spray the William Castle tombstone. We'll come back after that. All right, I've already sprayed down William Castle, and the paint is not as dry as I hope it would be, so I'm just going over it with a heat gun to try to get it to dry faster. So when I come back, we'll be putting in the eyes. Hopefully the gimmick will work. All right, for your next step on the tombstones, I got Lon Chaney here. Looks like I did with the black in the spray bottle. I have mixed some green and some brown into the spray bottle. Shake it up a bit, spray it. And get around the top there a bit. And as you can see, that kind of runs down a bit. Kind of gives it an old look, weathering thing. I'm just kind of doing this until I can, while I'm waiting on the William Castle thing to dry so we can pop in the eyes. I like to let it run down. It looks a little bit more natural that way. Now, once it's dried, you can go back with like some black paint. And on this particular tombstone, I might redo the N and Lon Chaney and Lon, and maybe do some black and fill in the cracks that I put in, so the cracks will be more noticeable. But yeah, let's go pop in those eyes now. All right, I hope the paint is dried up enough. I will certainly be going back over the lettering in this one. Actually, it shows up pretty well on the camera, but it's very well hidden. What we'll do is see if we can pop in these eyes. Just like that. And let's straighten it up. And there we go. If you look, the eyes will follow you. Well, it looks like that gimmick kind of works. So I'm going to pause the video here and I'm going to go back and finish this up, and we'll take a look at the last results. All right, there you go. We got both tombstones done. They're going to be sitting there and waiting to dry. So go make your own tombstones. Have fun. Make something. Have a happy Halloween and keep Halloween alive. And I apologize for this video being 2 parts. I planned on it just being 1, but circumstances didn't allow me to do so. So keep Halloween alive and have a great day.